Our final speaker for this session is Mr. Mutlaq Al-Morished, who is the CEO of Tasnee, and I'd like to welcome him now to the stage.
Much appreciated. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not known to be formal, so I'm not going to give all kinds of titles or anything. Being the last speaker, I think we save the best for last, so I have to get myself a little bit. I will, as usual, speak very frank with all of you here. Unfortunately, I'm not here to throw challenges at anybody, be the best, be whatever, good environment and all that stuff. Unfortunately, I'm the poor guy on the block. I cannot be Aramco or Sabiq or Mubadala or Adnak. I'm a guy actually who's trying to survive. Simple as that. So, like Sheikh Muhammad yesterday said, he was told by a Sabiq guy about steel and chemical. I'm going to borrow his line, and I'm going to just talk about how to turn a company from a demise into stable, profitable, and hopefully soon expanding organization. It's not easy at all, and it's difficult when you come to a business that's basically bleeding cash. And you have debt, amount of debt, that for the bankers in this room or the financial people, when you have a net debt to EBITDA of over 12 multiple, you're really in trouble. So forget all the nice things, forget all the great visions and all that stuff. The basic reality of life is you need to cut that debt sooner than later and find a way to survive and turn the corporation around. And doing that is not pleasant. It's not a popularity contest. You will not be popular. You will be even hated. Your car will be damaged. My own car in the parking lot of the company was scratched a few times. But that's the price you have to pay. I was once married with a German. She was a tough cookie. And she said, look at me. I raised Hamad, no maids, no servants. I ran one of the largest clinics in Wiesbaden, in Germany, which she owned, by herself, and I wasn't there. And a year later, she moved to Saudi Arabia, sold the clinic, blah, 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 all that stuff. And so that's, for me, was some challenge. When I look at that and see what it thinks, by the way, we are still friends, for those who know me or don't know me. Muhammad's still friends. She's even, especially the Gulf people who will not believe that, she's even a friend with my wife today. And she even takes Alia to Germany for summer. So it's a little bit strange. So with that, let me say, turning around companies is not easy. It's not for a guy who wants to have an easy life. I left a job. After many years, a friend of mine told me, like maybe you're tired. First time I was a little pissed off. But then I said, maybe right. Let me see. It's time maybe to change. When you sit in a job, no matter what it is, for over 10 years, basically you can do the job with your eyes closed. I'm not bragging about myself, but anybody in this room. Look yourself after 10 years in the same job, then it gets a little. So in my case, opportunity came. It's a job that I've done many times in Sabiq and out of Sabiq, turning around companies. I've never been an easy job in my life. From shared services to Hadid days to all kinds of stuff. So it was really an interesting for me. And I said, yes, I'll prove to myself I still have the energy. And maybe prove to my friend I can do it. So let me go over it. First of all, when you enter into a company that really serious and dead and close to going bankrupt, because you reach a point where you can't even meet your payroll because the cash is not there. You're not a Sabiq of the world, of Hadid or Aramco's of the world, where the parent company has deep pocket. You know you can do things, but they will give you money ultimately. They will not let you drown. But in our case, in Tasnee, unfortunately, we don't have that. We're totally public traded company, 100%. And nobody was giving us the money. That's the bottom line. So we basically had to streamline our operation, run the plants as efficient as we can, which is very important, cut our cost to the max, basically, as much as you can without shutting down your plants. Basically, increase your account payable tenor, time, and collect faster. That's one of the things we've done, and I have one of the best financial guys, in my opinion, in this neighborhood. So we have done that. And also, you have to look at your cash. Cash is king. In a situation like that, you have to reserve cash as much as you can. We reached point at times where actually we delayed payment to some of our contractors, but we did not close the valve. There is a lot of chemical guys in this room, or refineries guys. We didn't close the valve, because if you close the money supply to your contractors, they need some cash to keep operating. But you can cut it a little bit. You can sit with them. I owe you 100 million. I'm going to pay you 5 this month, 3 next month, 10 the other month, and so on. And people will understand. So that's very, very important. Then if you do all these things and still sinking, what do? You go back to your banks and say, look guys, I love you, and I think you're partly guilty, because with this huge amount of debt you gave the company, you're a part to blame, in a way. So it's not only the company's fault, but you're all part of it. So you guys can extend the tenor. Of course, the banks at the beginning will not like it, but ultimately, the reality sinks in. It's better to increase the tenor and the company to pay interest. Otherwise, the bank will have to, I know some bankers in the room, the bank will put it non-performing loan in their books, and they're going to have to impair it and write it off. So they will never reach that. They will even actually give you money to pay them back the interest. So they don't go into this book business. So banks were okay. They're flexible. They got it. So we get a flexible structure. I will go over it in a while. And then you have to get the maturity, the covenants, everything has to be released. So now, we restructure the business. Unfortunately, I will show you some not pleasant numbers, where you have to let 1/3 of the workforce go. Believe me, that's not pleasant. I spent nights, sleepless nights. But it's better to pay the 2/3 and be in the job than pay nobody. So you have to look which. You cut your arm to save your body, you reach that point. Unfortunately, you do that, and then the problem still, the ship's still going down. You're going to have to do something else. Then you come to look at your capital. Your capital is like your babies. And you say, well, baby, I love you all. But we're reaching a point, I'm going to let one of you go. So I love you, but I don't love you that much. So you, in our case, unfortunately, happen to be Crystal, we're going to let you go. But we still love you, so we're going to try to marry you with somebody. What are we going to do? An equity, cash, things, because we want to stay in that business. We still think it's a good business, but we need to deleverage. So we reached that point. We negotiated with Tronax of America. We're going to own 24%. We're going to get $1.673 billion cash. We're going to bring, for the first time in a long time, direct FDI to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in the range of $3 billion, which is significant. Hasn't been done in a long time. I know financial people can know these numbers. And we will own 24%. We will get 2 seats at the board, myself and one of our colleagues, in New York listed company. And that gives us a relief as ourselves. And also we look at the rest of our portfolio, and with time, we're going to have to do few things, adjustment here and there, and therefore we really reduce our debt to equity, we reduce our net debt to EBITDA to get the corporation going. I know the time is short, so I'm not going to try to talk too much. So I said I talked to the head, the headcount reduction. You have to have packages. Imagine letting 3,000 people go in 8 countries. Different things, countries with unions. And by the way, let me leave a word of wisdom here. I hear a lot of people in Saudi especially talking about, you cannot fire Saudis, you cannot do this, you cannot. Let me tell you, we have let go over 800 Saudis. I'm not bragging about it, that's not pleasant. But it has to be done, ladies and gentlemen. Business is business, we're not go-see. We have to do that. But if those believe is bad in Saudi, they should go to France or Brazil. These even worse. The best they can do, of course, America, followed by Northern Europe, Australia, where we have operation And therefore, it can be done, and we've done it. We even have a demonstration in Youngberg a year and a half ago on us, and we managed to go through that. So I'm still here. I'm not in jail, huh? I'm still standing. Then you have to do what the reduction comes to shared services. We have the experience in shared services. We have the team who did it before. And we've done that basically to reduce the headcount and to control the corporation. Because fragmented corporation, people spending money is not good. So you need to control it from the center, and that's what happened. We also changed the company to an SBU structure where we have Petchem, titanium, and downstream. So people can manage it much easier. So look at this for the financial people in the room. Look at the numbers where we have the oil coming, and look at the things that we started in 2015 and beyond. We were really, boom, down. We have no choice over that. And then we start to improve. Basically, prices were not the best. Titanium in 15 and 16 titanium dioxide was the worst. It came because of the cost cutting, because of the structure of the business. We closed non-profitable things. We let non-value added work go out of the window. We have no choice over that. Then the debt structure is very creative. I think the banks in the beginning didn't like it, but ultimately they did. We call it 3 + 1 + 1. You give me 3 years for the debt extension, and if I pay you almost $1 billion, you will give me another extension for a year. So last July, we paid about 500 plus million riyal, $500 million to the banks. We get to year 20. We will pay sometime next year, and we will get the debt into 21. So that's the trick of breathing. Because you can't, under a heavy load of debt of 12 to 1, the company cannot survive for long. So you see it now in a different graph. We refinanced the debt breakdown, the 5.6 that will come from the deal, hopefully by year end or early next year. We closed, depending on our friends at the FTC in New York. And we're working with them. There are no guarantees, but we think we're making progress. And you see how the debt goes down in the corporation. And that's, you see the pre-finance, refinance, and after. So that's just to give you a breathing space. The crystal divestiture is basically, we reach a point that we have to give one of the children away. So non-core, for us at the time, highly leveraged. And we found one of the best world players. We're into chlorides technology, Thronos and chlorides. We're feedstock short, pigment or TiO2 long. They feedstock long, pigment short, chlorides. So it's marriage made in heaven, like they say in America. So the two makes a great deal. We will stay, like I said, we will own part of it and get the cash also. And Tronox last year sold their soda ash business to finance this deal. So both parties are very excited about it. And then you do your things, you drive, the portfolio optimization, which we are doing by divestment and focusing on. I'm trying to move fast because I get only 2 minutes. And then you create a world-class experience management in Tronox as combined entity. We will be owners, but not really operating it because it's a New York listed company. And our shareholders will benefit from the large corporation. It will be probably the world's largest TiO2 player. So that's very significant for us. This now giving you what the divestiture doing to our leverage. You see how our leverage improved to 3.6. It's for the financial people here, it's not pretty 3.6, but when you come from 12, it's great. So that's something, and of course, we will work on reducing it as we go. So if you look at what's happening in the FDI, I talked about it, we brought about 3 billion. You be the private sector debt in Saudi, it's quite significant. And by bringing money, we're actually putting liquidity in the banking sector. I know a lot of my friends bankers today wouldn't want that because they already have some liquidity. They have offered liquidity sometimes, but that's something we have to do. then the money will come to the kingdom in the form of FDI. It will reduce our debt significantly, and it will allow us ultimately to start giving dividend to our shareholders, because that's very important for any public listed companies. I talk about the capital structure optimization. You see how much debt we have versus the whole capital structure. Very significant debt on the balance sheet, and you see where the green line we have that you will bring. Sorry, this slide move faster than I want. So the green line, you will see it bringing it down here. That's the line. I want to show you one classical graph used mostly in Western companies. This graph shows you the worst place you want to be, that pink side here, and where you like. I did not actually, I put mostly foreign companies for obvious reason. Unfortunately, we are in this part of the world a little bit defensive. I know we could put few in this corner, but we try not to. We just use Western European or Asian companies. We came, unfortunately, from this to this. You ask maybe why. Fortunately, money came to the company. We should have deleveraged, paid some of the debt. It was invested. Fortunately, these investments did not bring EBITDA. And when you don't bring EBITDA, that's what happened to you. You come here. Simple as that. So, what happened next? What happened next is this. With all this work, you come from here, you move your way, unfortunately, down to the demise stage, and then you move. You move back up. This is the first half of this year, and God will be here. We'll be back. We have maybe lost a little bit of one of the babies, but that's a price to pay to save the mother, which has been done, and we bring it here. So that's, in a nutshell, what's happening when you really run a business that's tough. It's always a pleasure and fun to be running a profitable and great business. My experience came from plenty, where you raise 30 billion from IPOs, bond, sukuk, bank debt, to a place where you actually have to divest and get some of your babies out in order to survive. That can really teach all of us a lesson, including myself, and to see that life is not easy, but it's rewarding. You come from a tough life, you really appreciate the value of life and things, and in my case, even personal, I was born, my father died when I was less than a week old in a Bedouin family. So you learn how to live a tough life. And when you do that, then you can manage. So there's silver lining in every dark cloud. It's always good to see what happens, how you can bring things. And this is a classic case of bringing things back to life. And it's pleasing. It's involved with a lot of people. I'm not alone in it. There's a whole team who did it. And one of the other advice I will leave if you run into that kind of situation for any lady or female or male is make sure all your team with you. And if somebody not with you, get rid of them quickly. Even if you don't have replacement. Because the damage of a senior people in a turnaround situation that who's not on board is going to cause you a hell of a lot damage than running without that person. And we've done it, unfortunately, also. We have people who did not support direction. We let go. That's it. We have no choice over that. So these are kind of in summary. I don't want to drag on you too long. I know it's zero time, so I'm going to try to just show you one last slide for those of us, Mr. Al-Faris here, CEO of an Inma Bank, that watch the stock market, and sometimes we in Saudi Arabia, even educated people, say the Saudi stock market doesn't respond to company performance. Well, I can show you no, it does. This is share price of Tadawul. This is the situation of Tasnee, and this is the price of us in Tasnee. And you can see we moved here, we were going down. Then we done streamline operation here. and the stock still go down. Then we did the divestment, announced to the market, start to improve. Then we did the debt refinance. This is real data. This is not forecast, it's not historical, real data. And this imposed on the date where these things were announced. So it's a fact. And here, and you can see the share price going back. So if you added it, the market actually is logical and knows better than all of us, and when they see the value creation, the market rewards you with a higher share price. Of course, the market, there's sometimes incident happen in any market that drag the whole share price down. But in reality, the stock market does know where the value is, and it rewards the people who create the value. So with that, I will stop here and thank you all, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure. I hope I did a decent job of delivering not an easy and pleasant message, but a survival, and bringing something from a demise, from what you call it, the mouth of the lion, back into safety. Thank you much, appreciate it, and very thousand questions. Thank you.